let me tell you a story, as they say. I lined up what I thought evangelism was 9 years ago. I didn't think I was an evangelist. I lined up my dear friend, Professor John Lennox, to take on one of my very senior city friends, someone really senior in my industry. And I thought that was my job done. It's like sending someone on a Christianity Explore course. Well, your job's done. You've handed them over to the professional. Well, good grief, I got John Lennox of all people. So that was it, job done. So I thought my job was going to be to host this dinner and sit down and pass the drinks and the bread rolls. Well, what I sat through was actually 2 dinners, 7 hours of debate, 3.5 hours each a dinner. And what I witnessed was someone who was a non-Christian, had no biblical knowledge. He was biblically ignorant. And when he fired a question at the good professor, the professor gave him a biblical answer back. But my non-Christian friend had no context to be able to place that answer. So he just thoroughly enjoyed, by the way, he loved these dinners because intellectually he found it very stimulating. But he didn't know what to do with the answers. So in frustration, I found myself at the end of the second dinner saying, listen, I can't see the point in having another one unless we ask the good professor to come back, and I was this vague, to, quote, open the Bible for my friend. Well, the good professor very graciously agreed to come back, and he opened John chapter 1, verses 1 to 18. And I've got to tell you that evening changed my life. Because what I saw was my non-Christian friend he went off like a demented ACAC gun with questions on verse 1. He slowed down on verse 2. He was with God in the beginning. And then he got into verse 3 and he mumbled something. And he came silent in verse 4. And I witnessed this man whose nickname was Golden Tonsils in my industry. Golden tonsils fused that night, because I witnessed him for the first time in his life understanding exactly what was being shown him, and he'd not seen it before. And he sat there in stunned silence as the gospel was outlined to him in this unique passage of John 1, 1 to 18, an overview. I did not need to see that twice. So I rushed back to St. Helens Bishopsgate and asked my minister, William Taylor, one of the best Bible teachers of our generation, William, would you please teach me, because I've never been involved in teaching the Bible before. And I asked him to teach me in such a way that I could actually take notes. And then I started to go out and offer these notes to other senior friends. And I was saying this, listen, haven't you always said to yourself one day you'd have a look at the Bible? I mean, after all, it sold more copies than any other book in the history of printing. So wouldn't you say that you probably think there's some good stuff in it? Well, I've got these great notes. Can I please show you this one passage at the start of John and see what you think? All I'm going to say to you at the end is, did you enjoy that? Would you like to meet again? The take-up rate when I started to do that was 70%. Staggering. 7 friends out of 10 actually said, yeah, I'd be interested in doing that. I have always thought one day I'd have a read of the Bible. And I know you, and I'll have a cup of coffee. And then the extraordinary thing was, when I got to the end, here's what they said, and I've got to tell you this, and this is damning of us as Christians. Every person I have done this with in the last 9.5 years has said this to me. Why has no one ever shown me this before? Now that's damning of us as Christians, but they went on to then be interested in doing the next. Now all that happened is those original notes have been refined and refined and refined by William and I until we reached the point 4 years ago where, with the encouragement of the FIEC, we rewrote those notes with the publisher 10ofthose.com, Jonathan Carswell, into a totally accessible language. We were asked, please don't make another middle-class product. So we generated something which is clearly accessible, socially accessible. If I can show you for a second the books, every single page is coloured denim blue because you can be a prince or a prisoner and you feel comfortable in your jeans. And we came out with these books, and instantly, wherever they went, they were a huge hit. Because people realised it's not about you and how good an evangelist you are. It's all about that it's a living word of God, and your job is just to share it with your friends. Actually, they don't listen to you. You're just a puppet in this game. It's actually all about simply showing them the word one-to-one, the word on a one-to-one basis. And the reason in a Google age why one-to-one is particularly successful, well, in a Google age, increasingly, we don't actually like appearing to be an idiot in front of other people. So if I know you, there's a privacy to that friendship and relationship that I don't mind sharing on a one-to-one basis. And I'm not saying that you can't use them on a bigger basis, but we can get to that as a separate issue. It is particularly powerful, a massive investment of your time, but it is particularly powerful on a one-to-one basis.